I'm going to show you how to connect Excel to your SQL database. The first thing to do is obtain your SQL Server. Go under the I ribbon, Data. To the left, Get External Data. Then click from Other Sources. And we are going to click from SQL Server. And this gives us a portal to connect to this SQL Server. You can connect to many others. I just have the one server. I can get the name upon initializing SQL Server. I can also get the name from this piece here, just the first piece. I will use Windows Authentication, click Next. On the drop down, you'll see all of your databases. I'm using the JASFIN database. There's a master database, and I'm not quite familiar with the other drop downs, but this is my database. And I know just naturally, without you having created any databases, everything will go under master. We'll do JASFIN, and these are all the tables in the database. It's a pretty skimp DB. I only have a table, and you will notice that I have a view as well. And you can see here to the far right, you're given the type. It's either a table or it's a view. I am going to connect to a specific table. If I wanted to connect to a view, I will click the view I want to connect to. The only reason you're seeing two objects instead of more is simply because it's a very sparse DB and there's not more than two objects, including a SPROC. It's a store procedure, and I'll show you how to connect to that in a different tutorial. Click on the table. Actually, because I'm providing this to a contact, I'll click on the view. They wanted to see how it's done. Description, pull up, view. And we'll go ahead and click finish. You already have a file named this, it says. Do you want to replace it with this file? I'm going to say no and go back, and I'll change this name to V2. I'll call it pull up view, and I'll click finish. Once you click finish, it requests import data, and where should you import the data? You can import it in your current Excel worksheet, or you can add a different tab. Unfortunately, if you haven't already created the tab, like an empty sheet tab, you have to close out of this and start it again. I can only see it allowing you to add information in sheets that exist. So unfortunately, when you are under this particular function of the process, you can't right click and add a tab. Have your tab already prepared. We'll add a table, existing worksheet. I'm in output procedure here. Let's do a view. I'd already previously done a view. I will have it activate under K3. I'll click OK. And let's go back to K3 under view. Here it is. Here's the table. If you would like to refresh the table, let's delete this. I misspoke. If you would like to refresh the view, the reason this is a view is because we're querying specific sections or columns for fields they refer to in a table. It's called a view because the actual table has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. The view has 1, 2, 3 fields. To refresh the view, I'll click refresh, and here comes in the view. One other thing, the view query that I have used gives it a where. So not only do you pick the specific columns you want to pull in from your table, you give it a condition. Unlike if you just write a query for a table, let me see if I have the query active for the table somewhere. This is a store procedure. I'll do another presentation on that and how to connect to ODBC, and you need that for store procedures. Here's how you can create a table. And there is no query from a table except your typical select everything from and then table name. That's it pulling in everything, and that's you connecting to the table. It will pull in literally everything under that table. Views allow you to have more control of the information that you pull in, but I think something that is more dynamic than a view. And again, just a reminder, a view query would be something like this. I'm selecting columns, specific columns from a table where the rating is 5. And as you can see, the output table itself has 3 records with a rating of 5, 5, and 3. The table doesn't pull in the 3 because I've requested that it pulls in customer ID, comment, and rating, and where things are rated as 5. So it doesn't pull in anything else that doesn't meet my particular conditions. For instance, it doesn't pull in the bold name, and it doesn't pull in the last name. It's only pulling in customer ID, comment, and rating of 5. If you want to get dynamic with it, you can use a procedure in SQL. A procedure is something similar to this. Create procedure is the first thing. This is a variable you choose to define. You give it a beginning customer ID. This is where you start controlling the range. You can use dates here, beginning date, ending date, as, and then you run this particular query. And the output after everything's connected, and I'll do another tutorial on how to connect. Store procedure would be something like this. In our example, our database only has 3 records. This is total. I could ask for it to end at record 2. I'll do a refresh all, and the procedure will just give me the first 2 records. I could ask for it to start from record 2 and end at record 3. I'll click refresh, and the procedure will give me record 2 and record 3. Lastly, I'd like to show you how to view what is in your database. This is the database I was in. This is a server. This is a database. I was in Jasmine. Here is a table, and let me minimize everything. Minimize views, and I will minimize this block. It's called where the store procedures are. All the tables in my database are here. All the views in my database are here. And store procedures are under programmability. programmability, stored procedures, and you'll see any conditioned queries for the database. I hope this was helpful, and until next one.